Peace, family. This is a series that we have make the necessary adjustments, but we have different topics that we actually deal with. So this is the one that deals with grief, growth, and grace. Grief, growth, and grace. So I just want to just I'm 50 now, so in my 40s, I lost major people. My mom, my sister, my dad. I lost my half sister during that time. So it was a time. All along I did get two new children. I did get Jabari-When and Mecca Mayat, but it still was, you think you know what life is about until you go through some of these things. And this episode right here is called When the Limo Door Closed. And just to give a background right quick, my dad passed in August in 2018, and I can remember that day very often. When I grew up in my house, all I knew, till I was 5 years old was my dad, Larry, my mom, Shanita, Mama Mayat, my sister, Melissa, my sister, Patrice, and myself. And I'm gonna tell you, that was my people. That was my heaven. That was my heaven right there. It was just beautiful being with mom, dad, my sisters. That's what I knew. I didn't know heartbreak before that. I didn't know heartbreak until my mom and dad got a divorce. And my mom wound up, leaving dad, and that's when things got a little bit real for me then. But that was then. And then 40 something years I had them in my life. But I can remember when that limousine door closed when my dad passed away. And I remember my mom and my two sisters getting in the car, and I looked and I said, man, we just lost one of our starting five. It was five of us, and we just lost one. And man, I remember looking, and I remember Whitney Houston song was playing. I Love the Lord was playing, and I can remember that day. It was raining. It was a rainy day, and it was tough. It was tough. So the weight of responsibility of when somebody passes away is my first time ever having to plan a funeral. Plan a funeral for my dad during that time, making decisions, casket shopping for a casket. Like, nobody wants to do that. And it's like, oh, you can get the green one, you can get this one, this is $22.50, this is, and everybody's talking business, even though a lot of funeral homes, and they're being polite and everything, but this is regular business for them. And this is like, man, this is weird, this is strange. And so now we have to sit down, and then you got to come up with go to the cemetery, and all of this going on. You just lost a beloved one, and you got to come up with all these decisions, and plan out a funeral, and who's going to speak, and who's this and who's that. The weight of it, the will, going and taking care of paperwork, what goes here, what goes there, who gets this, who gets that. So it's a lot of sleepless nights. I know for me, at least, a lot of sleepless nights, emotional shutdown, questions with no answers, and just feeling lost, man, but support becomes everything everything around that time. And I'm telling you, man, old school knew how to do it. I remember when, back in my grandfather passed away, and I, because I was born in 75, and I can remember some of those old school funerals back then, and man, it was just so crowded, and everybody came over and gave something, even though people came through and showed love even through but it was still a little bit different than it was back in the old school. It was just way more people that came, but I appreciate all the love, man, from people came out, they showed love. This is my first time ever dealing with this stuff before, man. I wasn't ever looking forward to this, and you need people around you, man, loved ones around you, because the only thing that can heal when you hurting like that is love. It's family, your mate. They gotta be there. They gotta be there to recharge you, because you gotta tap into something different, man. You gotta tap into a whole different power when you going through that type of stuff, to think logically and how to plan something, and then every now and again it hits you, and a lot of times this stuff don't even hit you until after all of this stuff is over with. But it's that love, it's that cousin or friend you ain't seen in a long time, man. Hey, man, I'm here, man. Hey, man, sorry for your loss. Sorry for this, sorry for that. So it's real. It's real. The critical truth, like I said, is that it ain't no time for no family arguments, man. And I know that they happen a lot. No time for family arguments, pride or pettiness. You can't deal with all of that. You putting this is the person that brought me into this light, into this world. We didn't have a whole lot of that went on. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you had a little tiny bit. We had some of it. You know what I mean? But your loved ones around you got to show love and support. Your daughters, your sons, your mate got to show love and support. This ain't the time to be arguing and bringing up stuff, because you really going through some stuff. For those that's listening, you know what I'm talking about, what you go through during these times. So you need peace, you need presence, you need availability. The critical truth is that you gotta rebuild through your community, man. I see, what I'm saying? And that helps center you in to recharge your battery, because you have to recharge, and you got to know that somebody got you, because you might not feel like going to work. You may not feel like doing this. You may not feel like doing that, but you got to have somebody there that's going to step in and be like, hey, look, I got you. Hey, look, go relax yourself, go chill out, go do this, go do that, So in the rebuilding, let love be the strength. Let love be your strength. Lean on others, just like that song. We all need somebody to lean on, because best believe this is life, and one day you're gonna need somebody to lean on. If you ain't been through it before, if you live long enough, you will need somebody to lean on. So, man, show love to people. Show love at all times. The spiritual shift, this kind of loss, you got to make the necessary adjustments. And that those adjustments to be able to make it through life, because you got to continue on. Because guess what? When my daddy passed away, the world ain't stopped. And guess what? The bills kept coming in the mail. They all kept coming, and nothing stopped. The world kept going. And you got to keep going, and you got to find the energy and strength, and it's the love and those people around you. So brothers and sisters, make the necessary adjustments. Ashe.